great. Okay, so let's just, it's always good to see Drew here because I know he goes rock climbing before he comes, so it means he didn't fall off. I'm sure you're very safe, but
You always mention that. You always mention that. I'm not always after a climb, but some days, some
some
days.
days, okay, good. Well, nice to see you. Okay. All right, so let's just settle into our meditation posture and try and bring your mind to the same place your body is. And I'm just going to fiddle with the mic. And if your feet are on the ground, the floor, you can raise them maybe a little bit. Have them in a parallel position, so not crossed, legs not crossed. The whole thing is you want to be nice and aligned to allow the energy to flow. Hands in the meditation mudra, right hand nestled in the left, thumbs are touching. And raise your sit bones 2 to 4 inches. Shoulders aligned with the hips, and if as much as you can, ears aligned with the shoulders. So in order to do that, I would imagine somebody is lengthening your neck, maybe pulling up your ears, tip of your ears. You have Spock ears, pixie ears, and very gently gliding your head back. That's not always available for everybody, but just imagine it. Now imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And just imagine there's perhaps like a puppeteer very gently lengthening that string, that light string. And you can imagine it's coaxing all those muscles along the spine to lengthen. And the head is slightly tipped forward, just hinging from the top of the base of the skull. So don't be tipping your whole neck forward. Just lengthen the back of the neck. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose to a spot about 2 inches ahead. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks. The jaw, area around the mouth, back of the head. And the ears, the inner ear, the temples, back of the tongue. Relax the jaw again. And release any tension in the back of the neck, the shoulders, shoulder blades. Keep lengthening that little string of pearls. Relax the throat, the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring your mind to the breath, noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling. It's a little bit cooler than the air you're exhaling. And just be aware of any sounds in your environment and just notice what your mind is wandering off towards. What distracts you, what attracts your mind in terms of sound. And just allow that sound to be there. Try not to engage with it. And then allow it to fade and bring your mind back to the breath. And the reason we start out with meditation by meditating on the breath is because it's something that we do all the time. It's always there. So this morning the meditation was more on this spacious clarity of the mind. It's a little bit more advanced. So some of you may notice the difference. So you keep coming back to the breath as your base, home base. So just notice the thoughts as they arise, and they abide and they dissolve. Or you can imagine them flowing on this river of mental moments of ours. And try and put some space in between your thoughts. And try not to engage or get entangled with any kind of story that might be going on. Maybe something happened today, you're still thinking about it. And try not to judge, criticize yourself. And then we can just put ourselves on this bank of the river bank. And just notice those thoughts all flowing on by. And the different thoughts, happy thoughts, garbage thoughts. But the thing is, you're watching them, you're observing them, you're not engaged. So while you're sitting on the bank of the river, you're free from it. So let's just bring to mind all the people of our life, all those people we really love, our friends, the people we take care of, our loved ones. And then those people in our life who we have a little bit difficulty with. And then there's the strangers. So as I was driving to my yoga class this afternoon, there was one stranger in front of me, and I was thinking about them. You know, what are they worrying about today? How did they decide to choose to have their hair that way? What were they thinking? And then, you know, as soon as the car left my vision, I completely forgot about them. So they just very fleetingly move in and out of our lives, these strangers. The friend, the enemy, and the stranger can change place at any time. So we need to be aware. And they're all deserving of our equal concern. Why? Because that friend, that enemy, and that stranger all just wish to be happy. They're all just doing their best, just like us. And they all wish to be free from suffering. And they all have this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this practice this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension all sentient beings. So if there's anyone in your life who's maybe not here in the room with us, who you think might benefit from doing this practice, you can just bring them, put them beside you, and imagine they're doing it there with you. So just remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And, you know, LAMA YESHE used to say we create negativity with our mind. So what we're doing here is, well, we're changing it by creating positivity with our mind. So it's so simple. This is something we have completely within our control. So next is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, action. We experience everything happiness, unhappiness, due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So logically it makes sense, if we don't want any more suffering, and we don't want an increased trouble in our lives, that we remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret our delusions, our anger, our attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And again think, I am sick of this suffering. Then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. And we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. And it's not that we need or we're asking Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine, his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher, your guru. It's a bit of a heavy word in the West, but it's how they say in the East. Or your Lama, this person's guiding you on the spiritual path. And he's manifesting in this form for your benefit. It just makes it a little bit more personal for us. And you can imagine he's made of this brilliant, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, which, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. This is just an analogy for our potential, our enlightenment potential, born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. So he has this brilliant, radiant, beautiful face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all the people of your life. His mouth is very sweet and red. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. He's very happy to see you. He's just accepting you exactly as you are. He has no judgment towards you. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And there being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by trying to develop a wish for them to be free from suffering. And so think particularly of people that maybe you harmed recently, and maybe then in the past. And then think of all the people that have harmed you, or maybe just one, and just develop a wish for them to be free from suffering, to have compassion for them, because the suffering that they've caused you is going to ripen for them in the future, undoubtedly. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine. So we're doing the recitation of the mantra and the visualization. So imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose or from a waterfall. You can imagine like Niagara Falls, which is very powerful. And it enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And the next is a purification of speech. And imagine Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So it's just the same as, LAMA YESHE used to say this, when you turn on the tap in a sink and fill up the dirty glass, all the junk in the glass just kind of comes to the top and overflows, except here it's a little bit more forcefully overflowing. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, being divisive, all this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of the mind. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and switch on a light, the darkness is instantly dispelled. So it has to be a pitch black room, of course. So imagine as the light hits your heart chakra, light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression and attachment and neediness and grasping and kind of jealousies and bitternesses and disappointments and insecurities, all of this is instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So think again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of your suffering, all of our own delusion are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. Gone. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So the next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So this time you can imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and you can, if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras each for the visualizations of the body and of the speech and of the mind. And if you don't want to do that, you could just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely, and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Now feel you are completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process. So, but as we've been doing, just rejoice first of all in your, probably been doing lots of Dharma activity today if you haven't been working, and just rejoice in your effort to come and do some more. Fantastic. And then rejoice in the efforts you'll be making, the progress you're making with kind of trying to sort of put a dent into your habits, the things that cause you to harm yourself and others. So just keep working on something. Think of something tonight to work on between now and tomorrow, whether it's your speech or whatever, something. And just say you're going to make a decision. I'll refrain from this for 5 seconds if that's all I can do. But give yourself something that is doable. So this aspiration, this decision, gives us the strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing, and LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They don't exist from their own side. Or you can think that perhaps the way things appear to me, looking so concrete and so real, maybe they don't actually exist that way. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created, the creative energy you've created doing this purification this evening to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Hoi Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Galloway Tenzin Kyang Pelway Kunzo Dog Porze Chog Sum Kurwe Leg Mon Tu Drub Padag Sog Dulje Kondu Shab Ten Shug. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. There we go again. Another session gone like a dream. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate being able to lead these meditations, particularly on the holy days. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Lots of love. Good night. Sleep well. Thank you for hosting with Shayla. Yeah. Okay. Lots of love, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.